Hello and welcome to the weekend edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Now guys, Murang'a people are eating our cousins. Have you seen the story about Murang'a people, watu wa Murang'a County eating monkeys as punishment for destroying crops? Very sad story. KWS need to deal with the monkey issue. Murang'a County has become a no-go zone. Yes, it's funny and sad at the same time. Murang'a has made me realize that monkeys can talk, just that they've never found a reason to. There's a monkey they caught, slaughtered, and then shared the pictures online. At first the monkey thought it was a joke. Paka vile ilishikwa mkia alafu mtu akatoa kisu. Monkey ilifungua roho. Wai adoka. Inachinjwa mkia galia. Aki binadamu ni wanyama. I have a family. No, hata hawakujali. Now, it's not like KWS don't know about this. They do. In fact, they say it's illegal to eat the animals. According to the law, if you kill an animal, a wild animal, you are supposed to surrender the carcass to KWS and state the reason for killing the animal. Watu wa Murang'a wanakula evidence. You should hear how they arrived at eating the monkeys in the first place.
We were afraid tunamkuraga kwa sababu nyama yake inaojaga kama buzi. Tunamkuraga kwa sababu anakula aina ya mboga na matunda. Na kumkura hakuna kukuharibikia.
So, if you live in Murang'a na unakulanga mboga na matunda na ukulangi nyama, are you thinking what I'm thinking? In other news, we would like to inform Kenyan men, by the way, on a serious note, of a gang from Kirinyaga undressing men at gunpoint. Their latest victim is the deputy governor of Kirinyaga County. So moving forward, ukikutwa na wezi kwa barabara wakuwekee bunduki alafu wakuambie toa yote. Ask them to be specific. Waambie unataka kujua ni toa yote gani? Ya Kirinyaga ama kama kawaida? Be specific. Now this message is for a specific group of men. They are only targeting rich men. So majority of Kenyan men, you are safe. Hawana haja na watu hawana kakitu. And the Kirinyaga County Deputy Governor was a victim after the release of a video of him naked in the company of a woman, also naked, surrounded by 3 professional slappers. One was taking the video, the rest was servicing the governor's cheeks. And personally, for real, I've not watched the video because it's not been classified. KFCB's Ezekiel Mutua said that the gangsters did not apply for a filming license and it was released without the consent of the cast. In fact, what is the film was released because the actors had not paid. And those who have watched the video have confirmed what they say about coffee. It's true. It's a strong stimulant. Inaleta joto na inapoteza usingizi. But seriously, guys, this is really going to affect emceeing as a profession. After watching that video, how do you comfortably say, wapi makofi ya mheshimiwa? And from my own personal point, I believe the deputy governor when he claims that he was set up. In fact, a lot of leaders have come out in support of this theory. The only people who didn't seem to buy his story are the people who were with him during a press conference after the incident. Just look at their facial expressions.
There is a creek of gangsters that is targeting politicians and those people whom they think have money in this nation.
You see, I believe you probably missed this. Kuna kitu alisema mpaka one of the spectators could not take it anymore.
I want to make it clear that I am such a victim. I was set up by Tim Crooks.
See, kumbe it's true what they say about, what they say actually in Swahili. Kikulacho kinguoni mwako. Oh, sorry, mwenye tunaongelea hakuwa na nguo. And now to the main subject of our show tonight, depression. For many people in Kenya, it would make sense if described as ugonjwa kukosa pesa ama kuumwa na mfuko, which is partially true. Unlike the Kirinyaga gangsters, depression doesn't choose victims based on how much money they have. In fact, on the flip side, depression can attack you over how much money you don't have. We'll get to that shortly. Because yes, lack of money is one of the popular causes of depression. According to the World Health Organization, 800,000 people die of depression-related suicide every year. From that number, suicide is said to be the second leading cause of death in the age bracket of 15 to 29, which if you are very keen, is the same age bracket that listens to the council, who are popular for the hit song, Nyongwa. Coincidentally, that song has been watched by 800,000 people on YouTube. I'm not saying 800,000 people followed instructions after watching Nyong'o on YouTube. I'm just saying it's a big coincidence. Suicide is a subject for another day because it's a complicated topic in Kenya because we haven't yet established the real cause of suicide. Apparently in Kenya, it is a crime to plan to kill yourself, then change your mind. That could see you spend up to 2 years in prison. You could spend up to 2 years in prison, pay an unspecified amount of fine, or both. It's called attempted suicide. That's according to Section 36 of the Kenyan law. You could argue that most people, this is what I think, most people who kill themselves, especially because of financial problems, do so because they cannot afford the fine. This makes it sound like it's more depressing to stay alive. See, according to a Ministry of Health report from 2017, 7.2 million Kenyans have attempted suicide. But I feel like the number could be higher because just being a Kenyan can be classified as attempted suicide. I'm sure they did not count wale watu wa kuvuka barabara chini ya flyover, wale watu wa kuhang kwa chopa, last but not least kuattend concert ya Rick Ross na unajua anaweza kuangukia ukufe. Hiyo ni nyinyi mlisema. Now, people underestimate depression, yet it is a very serious issue. Globally, up to 350 million people suffer from depression. Again, I think the numbers are this high because most of the solutions to this problem are actually the main causes of depression. For example, one of the solutions listed is talk therapy. Say you are depressed because you don't have money. You are advised to go see a therapist only to realize that he charges more than all the money you need to solve your problems. Worse ni upate therapist mwitu. Ati umefungiwa nyumba juu ya rent ya 2,000. Na unataka kujiua. Watu wako na mashida hapo nje. Ungekuwa deputy governor wa Kirinyaga ukifanya nini? On the real though, talk therapy works as well as drugs in the management of stress and depression. Nice words can be relaxing just the same way matusi inakuanga effective in what they do. Problem is that this is Kenya. Even nice words can be depressing. Kama kuumiza or someone needs to apologize. Hey, pole! Hii ng'ombe na iambia pole na isemi asante. Utasema pole ama utasema asante ama nikupiga kofi ingine. This would explain why up to 2 million Kenyans are suffering from depression. And that is not a number you can ignore. We have a depression survivor on the show tonight, a former radio presenter, Marcus Olang, to help us break this down even further. So see you after this short break. Welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. The subject on our show tonight is depression. Alafu nimesikia wale watu wa recross, niliona hiyo complaints that the person they brought probably alikuwa recross mwitu. I want to clarify that our guest on the show tonight is in no way related to ule jamaa aliletwa. Marcus Olang, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for that clarification. It's very important.
Karibu sana. Wewe unajua nimeona kale kapicha ka moji shot baba. Ati Harun Mwau baba san
alafu shot baba kwa hapo. Bas
nilikuwa nataka tukue clear.
Labda mimi anko wa shot baba sasa. Hapo karibu.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Before tuingie kwa subject ya depression, before we started the show you clarified something ati ni aje ongeze lights juu yako.
Oh yeah. You know the thing about it is I understand myself hata nikichukuanga selfie na watu kuna venye color correction lazima filter lazima ingiane pahali najifahamu ndio maana nilisema hivyo.
Nilikuwa na confirm tu kama umepona depression because kuna vitu tunaweza sema kwa show ukwe depressed tena.
Usijali. Niko sawa.
your journey na depression.
Yes.
Na hii kuunga yote stress.
Acha nikwambie gym ilisaidia Gym ilisaidia. I was not like this before. In fact, I have been through several phases. One day I will show you those photos. Okay. At some point I how to put it, a barrel, you know, an oil barrel, ile
barrel.
yeah, round hivi unaweza
kama
ni
mtungi.
bas unaweza tu ni
But uko kama mtungi tu bado.
kiasi say at least naji correct.
Okay.
At some point I was a very stick. Sasa wewe you have hope acha nikwambie hivyo. Yeah,
Mimi niko sawa.
You have hope.
Mimi ni vile mimi gym kama nimevaa nguo nisipite nguo yenyewe nimevaa nguo sawa.
Yeah, we will go with that story. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, sawa.
So yeah, mi kwangu nilianza nayo about what 2012. That's when I went through my first depressive episode.
Yeah.
Okay. And that phrasing is very deliberate. Juu there's a whole spectrum of things that usually happens. Juu unaweza pata mtu anaishi nayo every single day of every single week. Kuna watu wanaenda through phases na kuna watu wanaenda through a particular episode alafu after they go through it then they are fine after that. So it depends on where you are. And it's good to know where exactly you are.
How do you even know in the first place that you are depressed?
Now that's where it gets tricky. Juu si ka kupata malaria unapata uko na fever ama uko na una other than fever signs za malaria ni
Malaria.
You know I didn't do medicine for a reason.
Damu less kwa mwili juu ya nini?
Utameje hiyo aje?
Okay.
These are important questions.
I'm not that kind of doctor.
So for depression it gets a bit complex. So there'll be very many different signs.
Okay.
Utapata saa zingine there is someone who labda was eating very well before but then afterwards amekosa appetite. Or the other way around. Mtu wako anakula as much and then suddenly kila siku ako Sanford, McFries, nini, every single moment they're eating. That's one side. It depends on where. Another unapata mtu alikuwa anapenda kwenda out, anaanza withdraw a lot, they're in the house, hataki
so ukiacha kufanya chenye ulikuwa unafanya,
exactly.
You could be depressed.
Yes. Or again, the other way around as well. Mtu mwenye hajazoea kwenda out, unachikia ameanza kwenda out, kukunywa, drinking.
You can't know when you are depressed.
You can't, there's no specific checklist of things. It's just watching and understanding who am I normally and how am I deviating from who I am normally. And that's a very important part of that. Ni ka uko na marafiki or family who understand who you are, they would help pointing out when you may be going through something. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no checklist. It's very difficult. And that's, I think, why it becomes very difficult to diagnose how many people are actually suffering or going through depression in this country.
A typical session ya therapy unaambiwa nini yenye hujai ambiwa ama yenye hujui? Breathing.
Not that. That's now pali therapy gets tricky. You basically unalipa mtu, or if you're lucky enough they do it for free, so that they listen to you and so that you hear yourself talking.
Wait,
yes.
rudia tu hiyo
So,
kitu umesema pole step
okay.
by step.
So the vast majority of therapy, maramob, you are hiring someone to listen to you and ask you questions so that you can hear yourself talking.
Oh, juu hizo saa zingine sijisikiangi, si ndio?
Hapana.
Yeah.
By the way, hizo saa zingine unajijaz tu most of the time.
So you used to go pay.
Yes.
Ndio ujisikie ukiongea juu umeambiwa uji.
Yes.
How much?
Inadepend na pali umepata.
Tentatively tutupatie budget.
So it depends on where. Kuna counseling centers who do it at about 800 to 1,000 bob. There are individual therapists that do it for about 2,500 to whichever amount of money they choose.
Waambie tu mtu siri zako, yeye amenyamaza anakusikia.
Yeah.
Their job is just to listen to
listen.
You.
Yeah, to listen and then say it back to you so that you can hear yourself. Because saa zingine it helps.
Would you consider yourself someone who can offer therapy services to someone when you are depressed?
I talk to a couple of people once in a while. I'm not trained in therapy. I do talk to people once in a while because I have been through it. So I know how to talk to someone.
Do you need training to listen to someone?
You
giving
do.
You
to be a
secrets?
certified therapist, yes. It's not like being a pastor, unfortunately.
I think therapy ni kama mdaku haongei, like
unasikiza tu.
Una consume tu,
It's something of that sort. A bit more, a bit more of, there's some science to it because there's a way you have to talk to someone and listen to them for them to feel nika unamsikiza vizuri.
That's why I said,
Yes.
do you think I can be a therapist? Because I can tell the difference. Like it's how you say it. This is how you talk to someone. You say to someone, Aki pole. Pole! there's a
Yeah.
difference.
Si nimesema sorry basi.
Si pole basi.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There is a difference.
So wewe umeenda umelipa pesa, umelipa hiyo 2500, mtu asikie siri zako, vile umedampiwa and stuff. So at what point do you know that your pesa yako imeisha? Like your money has worked. How do you test the value for money? Ukiwa in session, mali utaacha kulia ama when you start feeling that you are forgetting your problems? Because I'm thinking,
yes.
I don't think I would be...
Sika airtime.
Sika airtime?
Sika airtime.
Oh.
Sika airtime yenye ulia ukikaribia mwisho wa airtime ama unapata ka text kana kwambia
hapo 24 hours. Na kuna hii shida nyingine tena.
No. So what usually happens is you're given, so oftentimes it's either once a week or twice a week depending on how frequently you would need to go into a session, sometimes once a month, so ina depend. How do you know
depending
that you're getting...
on the weight of your problems.
Depending on, yes. Or depending on how frequently you feel like you want to be there. Okay. So even problems that you didn't know were there before, at that session, they come out.
For you specifically, are you in a position to discuss how now, how you got to the point that before the first episode, you've called it, it's like a series, depression series. Before you got to the first episode, what drove you there?
That particular point, at that point, now as you said earlier on, I used to be a radio host.
Yes.
And then, so you know the thing about being in media ni, unaonekana nika una pesa, so people, you know, want to be a friend, they want to know you, wanataka freebies za Tikoza Recross, wanataka freebies za airtime hapa na pale ukifanya promo ya insert. This show is not sponsored by a network operator yet. So when they want all these different things, then many people become your friends. So when I lost that job, then all these people, watu wote, walikuwa nadhani ni watu wangu, disappeared.
Waka lost.
Yes.
Okay.
And that in itself becomes a point of crisis. Juna shanga, if all of you disappear at this point, what friends do I actually have? And then at the same time, nime lose job yangu, nita survive aje? Nitalipa rent aje? Nitakulaje? All these different things come to mind. So all of it coming into one situation, that's what triggered it.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a very solid point. But after ulipona walikam?
Well, wengine walijaribu. Key point, walijaribu.
Now, what is the difference between what you went through as in depression and self-esteem if your solution ilikuwa kwenda gym? As in, haikuwa self-esteem? How?
In part, ilikuwa self-esteem. Because what I saw myself as was, if I'm not a radio presenter, I'm nothing.
Okay.
So my entire esteem was tied to that one thing.
Radio.
Yes. And that's what happens a lot in Kenya. Ndo maana a lot of people, when they lose their jobs, they go down into a spiral. Tumefundishwa in Kenya, if you're not a doctor, you're nothing. If you're not a lawyer, you're nothing. If you're not a TV host, you're nothing. If you're not doing something with yourself, you're nothing. But the fact of life is, a lot of times we will not know what we're doing with ourselves. A lot of times.
Okay, true.
And if we don't give each other that room to figure out and to get lost kidogo before we find ourselves, this problem will continue to grow. If we don't give our kids time to lose themselves and figure out what they want to be when they grow up, and instead we tell them, you have to get A in KCSE, we will continue losing them.
That's a very valid point. Let's say you don't feel like gone too soon. If you don't feel like hiyo na utaki pia kuenda kwa therapies and stuff, let's say you don't want to confess some things, alafu you don't trust your friends, uko tu peke yako, what else can you do? Hiyo the other option ya kuwa depressed na utaki without being depressed.
So you don't have anyone to go to at all?
You alone.
When you're by yourself?
Yes, by yourself. Wale watu the loners.
Yes?
Yes.
For such a person, what I would say is, at that point, remind yourself that you're important.
Now on this camera, please lie to one depressed person out there.
I will not lie.
No,
to
lie.
you. I will not. I will not. What I will say is whatever it is that you're going through at this point in time, I will not tell you that it will pass. Sometimes it does not. I will not lie to you and tell you that it is temporary. Sometimes it is not. What I will tell you is that somewhere inside of you, there is strength. All you need to do is to have the courage to live one day at a time. Just today, just this hour, just this minute, that is it. All you need to do is live through this one day and count that as a victory. Count that as a win. If you've survived this day, you're fine. You can survive the next, and the one after, and the one after.
Just to make a clarification, he means when he says live through today, means today and have the same script tomorrow. Someone can commit suicide tomorrow and say, but tuishi jana.
Jana ilisha. No.
To be specific.
One day at a time, to the next, to the next. Ukimaliza leo, good job. You can do another one.
Yes, and breathe in, breathe out.
Once in a while it helps.
That's a good place
Once
to
in
end.
a while it helps.
You know.
Yes.
Maka Solang, makofi yake. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show.
Thank you very
Asante
much.
sana.
Yeah.
Now, that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.